Hello YouTubers. Well, those images are of a piece of my work, which is a bronze bust which stands amongst the weeds in my garden, and there's a little story behind it, but before getting to describe it, perhaps I should tell you of the system of one's progress through the world of art. So you leave school at 18, and if you're good enough or lucky enough, you will get a place at an art college where, because you want to be there, discipline may be a bit less than it might be at school, but nevertheless there is still a curriculum and there is still instruction in how to proceed in the world of art, and you will get introduced to many different disciplines. It was where I got hooked on to printmaking, and one of those will be life drawing, which means drawing from the nude model. And of course that's something that's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life, and after hundreds and hundreds of attempts you might arrive at something that might represent the person that you're trying to, that three-dimensional figure that you're trying to portray on a two-dimensional plane. Anyway, what generally happens, or in fact always happens, that on the first attempts the figures look very much like cardboard cutouts. Heads are always drawn too big, and certainly hands and feet are always drawn too small. There's no perspective involved. You do not describe the shapes and the forms within the body in any accurate sort of way. And so, of course, I proceeded, like everybody else, with all of those mistakes. And one day in the pottery class, where there's access to a lot of clay, I decided I would make a head, not of anybody in particular, and only using my hands and fingers and not any tools. I would make a head where you could add to and subtract from, and eventually get to be something resembling the right proportions of the head, with the eyes halfway up the head and the ears wherever they should be, and you think that's easy, but believe me, it's not. So I finished up with a clay head, which I rather liked, and so I had it, I think it's called bisque firing, whereby it is not fired to the highest temperature but becomes solid. So I had this for the year that I did my foundation course, and when I went on further, of course, there was access to a foundry where one could do wax, loss, casting, and so I decided to cast it, and so there it is in my garden, and has been there for I don't know, well, let me think, 1990, I don't know, 30 years, and I'm getting to rather like him, really. So any of you that are thinking of going into the world of art, as I say, if you're good enough, when you leave at 18, you can get a place in the foundation course, which becomes your first complete year before you go on to, again, if you're good enough or lucky enough, to university, where, of course, there you express yourself in whatever way you wish, and move on to whatever. Anyway, it's quite a long time. So that's the story of the head of a man sitting in the weeds in my garden. So if you're interested, maybe I might one day dig out another piece of artwork. So until then, or until I do, goodbye.